Wow. 40-0, prime time. This is not the way that you start your season if you're the New York Giants. Recording this on a Monday. You guys are going to be seeing this on a Tuesday. I'm still worn out. This was one of the worst performances by the New York Giants that I've seen in quite some time. I mean, you look back to the Rams game, you look back to the Tennessee Titans game a couple years ago where they lost 17-0, but none of them topped this game whatsoever. In every facet, the New York Giants were horrible. Defense couldn't get to Dak. Six pressures. Offensively, the offensive line gives up 7 sacks, 12 quarterback hits. Still can't pick up stunts. Evan Neal doesn't look like he's progressed whatsoever. Mark Lewinsky looks like an unserviceable, barely an NFL starting caliber offensive guard. Now, there were some coaching decisions in this game that I did not agree with. I'm sure everybody's on the same page. You don't play Andrew Thomas, who injured his hamstring on the field goal that was blocked for a touchdown. Played through it. You don't do that. Andrew Thomas is your star left tackle, Brian Dable. Your star left tackle, and you have him play through that, risking further injury, knowing that this is only week one. You have Daniel Jones playing with 4 minutes left to go and a 40 to nothing blowout with backup offensive linemen playing, getting killed. And for what? For what? We're lucky that Daniel Jones didn't get hurt. We're very lucky that Daniel Jones didn't get hurt. This offensive line looked horrendous last night. This offensive line looked like it was an XFL caliber offensive line. And that's me putting it nicely. Now, I did like certain things that I saw from John Michael Schmitz. I thought that Ben Bredesen, I mean, he looked decent in the run game. Andrew Thomas is Andrew Thomas. Even on one leg, Andrew Thomas is still Andrew Thomas. But this offense couldn't get nothing going whatsoever. Now, you got to give a lot of credit to this Dallas team. Okay. Dallas, that's a good team. Super Bowl contenders, let's be honest here. They just looked ready to go. And when you're fighting an uphill battle against a team like the Dallas Cowboys, you're in for a rude awakening, as we saw. When you consistently beat yourself and have to go against a team like the Dallas Cowboys, let alone any team. I don't care if that's a college team. I don't care if that's an XFL team. It doesn't matter. 5 fumbles, 2 interceptions, a blocked field goal. One of those interceptions was a pick six. 7 sacks. Come on. It's not rocket science. This was a horrible, horrible, horrible performance by the New York Giants. And it's embarrassing to see the product that was put out on there because expectations. Now, some of those expectations were put on by the fan base. I could put myself in there because I still believe that the Giants are, you know, they're going to be in a better direction than what we saw, uh, at least last night. I don't believe that the Giants are what they were last night. I don't. But this can get ugly very quick if this does not get solved. Uh, Daniel Jones. Look, I am one of the biggest Daniel Jones supporters probably in this Giants community. There's definitely more out there that are a little bit crazier than I am. But I tend to be a little bit realistic with Daniel Jones despite me supporting him. And that wasn't a good performance by Daniel Jones. Yes, we could blame the offensive line. Yeah, you can blame the weather. But there were passes that I did not like by Daniel Jones. There was decisions I did not like by Daniel Jones, especially that Stephon Gilmore interception. There were some bad decisions. There was just some bad decisions made. It was not the Giants' night whatsoever. This team looked defeated. They looked like they looked like a plane crash. Just a plane on fire crashing into the ground. Now, yeah, it's on to Arizona. But let's be real here. Arizona's nothing to sleep on. They just had 6 sacks yesterday against the Commanders. Bobby Johnson, offensive line coach. What are you doing? What are you doing? Now, I got to credit, there was a lot of Giants content creators, most notably Bobby Skinner, but there was definitely a lot of Giants content creators that I saw that were questioning this rotation that we saw throughout the offseason, in training camp, in preseason, that were questioning it and weren't really in favor for it. And I saw that they got a lot of slack. But this offensive line is not looking good. It's not. And the depth is very worrisome because you now have Matt Peart injured. We're going to see the severity of that. You have Andrew Thomas injured with the hamstring injury. We're going to see the severity of that. We can't lose him for the rest of the season, but we can't risk further injury either. We're going to have to make do. We might have to put Joshua Izudo at left tackle. We just might. We're going to have to look at free agency and pick up a tackle and maybe a guard until we can get this situated. But Bobby Johnson is someone that a lot of Giants fans, including myself, had a lot of questions on going into this year. Was he the right guy to stay going into this offseason? Because the offensive line didn't look that good last year. There was a reason why Buffalo Bills fans were a little too excited to see Bobby Johnson leave the facility. And I believe we're starting to see why. This offensive line isn't cutting it. Evan Neal, is it a confidence issue? Because that could be coached. Is it the fundamentals? You spent all offseason fixing your stance, improving in your pass sets. There was expectations for Evan Neal. And again, it's only week 1. He could become better. But he looked lost out there. He looked slow. There was some things that I liked with Evan Neal in terms of his footwork, but he just didn't look good out there. And having Mark Lewinsky looking like a pancake out there, just being a turnstile, I mean, that didn't help him either. So is it the coaching? Is it the players? Something's got to change. And I don't think that Bobby Johnson is the guy that should be coaching this offensive line. Maybe they should bring in a consultant. When you think of Dave DeGuglielmo when he came in under Joe Judge. Now, I don't think, it's going to be the same situation that we saw with Mark Colombo, but we need something. Something has got to change. Special teams. Thomas McGahee. We knew that special teams was going to be an issue for this team, and it bit us in the ass. It almost bit us in the ass twice. There has to be some serious questions with Thomas McGahee and Bobby Johnson. There has to be if there isn't already. Now, I know the season just started. It's going to be a little bit difficult to get some new people in here. They're probably not going to want to do it at this time unless it gets progressively worse, which you don't want to see as a Giants fan. But offensive line isn't cutting it. It looked horrendous. The worst that I've seen in years. Special teams, which was once a strong suit. Could you imagine that? Was once a strong suit for this team. is now a weakness and a liability. Now we're going to see the severity again of Matt Peart. We're going to see the severity. Graham Gano was injured, our new recently extended kicker. We're going to see the severity of that. Andrew Thomas, we'll get an idea of. But if Andrew Thomas is out for the season, I mean, this season is, you might as well chalk it up. You can't even risk Daniel Jones being out there without a left tackle. You just can't. Special teams was horrendous. I mean, that drive, again, looked promising, but we just kept shooting ourselves in the foot. Bad, a bad snap by John Michael Schmitz, a false start by Andrew Thomas, calling the timeout. I mean, just one thing after another, just stockpiling on this team. And the Giants have to be better, and I believe that they will. I believe they have the coaching staff to be better. I believe that they will be better and that they will correct the things that they have to correct. But that wasn't a good game in any way, shape, or form. I look at the defense. Kayvon Thibodeau, I know a lot of people will say, you know, he was invisible, didn't even realize he was on the field. I saw some sets from Kayvon that I liked, but if we're being honest here, him and Aziz they weren't getting it done in this game. And Aziz, I put a little bit more weight on him at the moment as opposed to Kayvon. Kayvon's going into his second year. He should take that next step. But Aziz Ojolari, man, you playing for a new contract. You're supposed to be that guy for us. You were supposed to be that steal that, we got out of Georgia. And last year, you looked pretty good in the time that you played. And Tyron Smith, look, that's a Hall of Fame, left tackle. But he's not the same guy that he once was. No pressure from this defense. I mean, we had 6 pressures. Six. Six. Leonard Williams, where were you? There's only so much that Dexter Lawrence can do. And again, there were certain things that I liked from Kayvon. I thought that he set the edge pretty well, but he has to get to the quarterback. This is what we drafted you fifth overall for. Get to the QB, get some sacks under your belt, and be that guy for us. Bobby Okereke, I mean, I couldn't really tell that he was on the field. Saw a little bit of Isaiah Simmons. I thought the rookies in Tay Banks and Trey Hawkins had a good game, despite that ticky tack call on Trey Hawkins. I know people will say that that's the rules, and I agree, but just thought that was a little ticky tack. I understand it's the rules, though. Thought they looked fine. I thought Saquon came ready to play. We saw the run game going early. I thought the Giants really should have leaned towards that more, but you really can't when you're down 26-0. Like, you really can't. So, going forward, if you saw a video with Tony Goat Romo on the Giant breakdown, I had stated I thought the Giants were going to be passing the ball more to open up the run, whereas in recent years, we've ran the ball to open up the pass. I could see that going forward. Again, I could see the Giants going back to that. And there's nothing wrong with that. You have a premier elite running back in Saquon Barkley. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, obviously, you want to be passing the ball more. You know, we want to be passing the ball at least a little bit more than we did last year with the added additions on offense. But it doesn't matter if we can't protect Daniel Jones. We can't. Nothing we threw at the Dallas Cowboys worked, and it all came down to the offensive line. They were able to pin their ears back and hone in on Daniel Jones because they did not respect the pass. So, look, there's a lot of things that this Giants team has to improve on. There's a lot of things that I myself, am going to be looking at to see if this team can improve. Offensive line, defensive line, but make no mistake about it. It is on to Arizona, but Arizona is not a team to sleep on. I know people think they're actively tanking. I get it because all signs would point to it, but they did just have 6 sacks on Sam Howell. and they're still a team that, they're not going to just lay down and take a loss. Nah, they're not. The Giants are favored in that game, and they should win. But if they don't, things can get ugly very quick on a short week going to San Francisco. But let us know your thoughts below, guys. I mean, I know that we're all still feeling it. Again, you guys are seeing this on Tuesday. I recorded this on Monday, and I'm still feeling it. I'm still feeling it. And, it sucks. It sucks. It hurts. It was embarrassing. You wait all year, all off season to see the Giants play. We were all anticipating this game, and it just talk about a heartbreaker. Talk about a heartbreaker, man. But look, if you made it this far, join the Hit Squad. We're almost at 600 subscribers. Let us know your thoughts below. I really want to hear what you guys have to say. You can follow us on X, or formerly known as Twitter. The link will be in the description box below. And on this week's episode, of the Giant Breakdown, we're going to be having Giants Nation own Tommy G. So definitely look out for that. It's going to be a fun episode. Love my man Tommy G. It's going to be a great one. But thank you again for tuning in. If you have, again, join the Hit Squad if you have not already. And we'll see you guys on the next video. Be easy.